This will not be an easy mission. Monkeys will slow the expedition. Oh, shit. Katora! I messed up the set. So I guess I need to go over what exactly is the plan for the basement, for our set. Well, I mean, look at this place. This is a disaster. No one can be creative. Katora and I are tripping over each other. We can't build the things we want to build. So that's exactly what we're doing in this video. We're taking care of this mess so we have a space to be creative and push our projects to where we want them to be.
First things first, let's clean this mess. Now that everything is cleaned up and out of the way, we will be able to take down the wall that separated the two sides and make one large L-shaped workspace. Later on in the project, we'll add a wall here to keep the junk from flowing back into the set. Now it's time to paint. Here is a little bit of a pro tip if you're looking to save a buck or two, and you are not picky on what color you get. Most big box stores offer incorrectly mixed paints for a deep discount. Let's kick things off with a tan base coat. When that layer was dry, I went back over about half of the bricks with a different color, then painted the grout a dark brown. To make the cinder blocks look less like cinder blocks and more like stone, I'll be going over every single brick with more brown paint to add dimension by weathering and creating cracks and imperfections. What I thought was going to be a simple weekend project turned out to be the most tedious part of the whole entire basement remodel and took well over 2 months to get done. No joke. To give the grout some dimension, I went over everything with some light gray paint. With the wall painted, let's check in and see what Patrick's been working on. Hey Patrick, how's that display shelf coming along?
The what? My part of the project. Oh, yeah. I'm just getting going on that. For this phase of the project, I'm going to tackle this space, or I should say the lack of it. As we said in a previous part of this video, we're moving to the other side of the basement, but we still have our junk in a part of that. And to hide that, we need a wall. So I'm going to build a false wall, but I'm going to reuse the existing 2 walls we have to build a new one, thus saving budget, because we don't really have a lot of budget to work with. So recycling is a very important aspect of this project. Building our new walls was not really that difficult. They did not have to be load-bearing, the walls just had to provide a foundation to mount foam boards to. The second wall is a little more involved, but still a fairly simple and straightforward process. Essentially, all I needed to do was fill the space between 2 posts in the basement and add a little extension to one side. After a quick round of measuring and cutting, the 2x4 studs got screwed into place. these new walls to invoke some old world charm into the space. To achieve that, Katura and I chose a Tudor design. For a more in-depth look as to how we did that, I'm going to pass this back to Katura.
To give the faux wood its grain, let me introduce you to this vicious looking thing called a 6-point steel ice chipper. I prefer to use this tool over a wood rasp because I feel it gives me more of an organic grain than I would get with the other tool. After I have a nice stack of wood complete, let's sand and shape the sides so it looks less like a piece of foam and more like a piece of wood. To secure our fake boards to the wall, I used Loctite Power Grab construction adhesive. While I am finishing up attaching the rest of the boards to our wall, I'd like to take a moment and thank you so much for watching this video. Recently, Patrick and I have decided to change the name of our channel. Magnetic Nerds is now Mythical Makers Workshop. We have a brand new name, but we are the same nerdy couple. You may be thinking to yourself, Katura, why would you want to change your name? When we first started our channel, we were known as Magnetic Nerd Federation. After a while, we realized that name was too cumbersome for people to find on the internet, so we shortened it to Magnetic Nerd because we couldn't think of anything better until now. So if you just found our channel today or been around from our Federation days, I would like to thank you for watching our video. For the boards, I used a light brown for the base color. And I'll be using this nice pistachio color I found on the discount rack for the walls. With the base coat dry, it's time to weather the walls. I used the same brown paint that I did for the grout on the brick wall. Then I used some Floetrol to thin out the paint. I used a slightly damp towel to help blend the paint. To add some variation in the weathering, I used raw umber and Rains Gray.
The wall's done. The wall's great. The wall's beautiful. The wall is so great and beautiful, I don't want to bring the miter saw back in front of this wall. So for now, the miter saw is going to come back here and sit here, hopefully for a short while Katura and I figure out a master game plan of how to make this a really cool little creative nook. Back to the video. finally happy to reveal just what it was that took up so much of Katora and I's time. Over the last 6 months, we spent time transforming our cramped and cluttered workshop into something that is now spacious and open. We have more room to do bigger skits and sketches, we have more room to do bigger projects, and what you see behind me, this is actually just the smallest part of it. The biggest thing we did happened over here. All right, this space is where Katora and I's efforts were really focused. Not only did we have to declutter and reorganize our mountain of junk, but we had to build new walls and we had to paint really everything. And then when all the dust settled, we now have a space in the shop that never existed before. So we have ample space to be creative and not trip over and fall on top of each other. Before I sign off, I'd just like to take a minute and say thank you. A big thank you from both Camera Shy Katora and myself to all of our followers, all of our supporters that stuck with us while we sorted through our mess and forged a new path forward. And with that all out the way, Katora and I are really happy to finally get to being back to making all kinds of weird, wacky, and mythical projects. And I'll see you guys in the next video. I need room to ram. I can't wave my arms. I talk with my arms. Into a place where we can be creative and have the room to do rambling. Lots and lots of rambling.